Hello and welcome to Treasury Notes, a show dedicated to the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Joins. Coming up on today's show, we'll talk about the state's unclaimed property program and how Treasurer Perdue's efforts to give money back to rightful owners is once again gaining national attention. Also, we'll take a look at a valuable financial education opportunity available to West Virginia women. Those stories in just a little bit. But first, State Treasurer John Perdue is always looking for new ways to stay ahead of the curve through modern technology. Practices like electronic imaging and e-government have greatly reduced the time and effort devoted to paper submissions and payments to the state. And now Treasurer Perdue has teamed up with the state auditor's office to implement a process for reducing the amount of paperwork going out of the office in the form of state paychecks. Starting at the end of October, all state employees will receive their paychecks electronically. Joining me now to explain more about this change is Misty Price, Deputy Treasurer of Cash Management. Misty, thanks for joining us here today on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Misty, for many years, state employees have had the option to choose direct deposit for their wages, and that's worked out really well for many employees. But now workers who haven't signed up for direct deposit are going to have a new choice. Tell us a little bit about this new initiative.
Well, like you said, come October, state employees will no longer receive paper paychecks. They will have two options. They will have direct deposit, which we've been doing for a long time, and now they will have the West Virginia Pay Card. The West Virginia Pay Card is a prepaid debit card that's reloadable, and it does not require the employees to have a background check. It's very similar to if you or I or anyone would have a bank account and they have a debit card associated with that. They will use it in the same manner as we would. But each pay period, that employee will keep that card and their pay will be loaded onto that card on payday, and then they will be able to use it, and there's a variety of ways that they can get those transactions and their money off of that card.
Yeah, this gives state employees a lot of options with the West Virginia Pay Card. Tell us about how this came about to begin with.
Well, both Treasurer Perdue and Auditor Glenn Gaynor, they both have been pushing for electronic payments for many, many years, and this gives them one extra option to eliminate paper checks. One of the big pushes was West Virginia ACES, which is our accounting and reporting package that we are implementing, and through that we were going to save the state approximately over $500,000 by not having to do an enhancement. So it just made sense that the treasurer and the auditor make the decision now to go to electronic payments.
Yeah, a lot of people might ask, why now? Why, when the treasurer and the auditor have had this authority to do this, why did they wait until now? And I think that's really the answer. The West Virginia OASIS, the enterprise resource planning system that's coming about right now, it's being unveiled as we speak over the next several years. That's really one of the pushes for this.
Absolutely. That when we found a way to save the state $500,000, they jumped right on it.
And there's also the costs associated with printing the actual paper checks.
Right.
And the work that goes into making sure that state employees receive these paper checks.
Correct.
Right now, how many people do you estimate are not using direct deposit and are using the paper paychecks who will be transferred to the pay card system?
The last report we ran, there was just a little over 3,000 employees that were receiving paper checks. The more that we let people know how great direct deposit is, and really our option is we prefer if employees would use direct deposit. Really the pay card is for employees who for some reason don't have the option of getting a bank account, and this is the only way they can get their pay electronically. But we are doing more of a push for direct deposit, and that number is continually going down.
I know sometimes they call it the unbanked community. Those are the people that this primarily caters to. And the Social Security Administration, not too long ago, I think it was back in March, did something similar. So this is a trend that we're seeing.
We're just following suit, yes.
And you talked a lot about direct deposit. Can people still choose to sign up for direct deposit if they want to, these state employees?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, that's really our preferred method for people to get their payments and their wages electronically, but this is a good option for those folks who can't.
And the direct deposit program has worked very well over the past many years.
Yes, yes.
Do state employees need to do anything to be ready for the West Virginia pay card to be unveiled to them?
Well, I think some do and some don't. If you get direct deposit right now, obviously you don't have to do anything because your pay will continue to be direct deposited into the account of your choice. If you do receive a paper check now, I think it's important for you to go out and research what options you have with our pay card. We have a website set up, westvirginiapaycard.com, that has a lot of good information that employees can receive. We've also been distributing information out to the payroll coordinators and administrators, so they have a lot of information. Those employees receiving paper checks, once they're informed with some of the benefits that they can get from the pay card, need to make a decision if they want to go to direct deposit or the pay card then.
Let's talk a little bit more about how the West Virginia pay card will work. I know that employees right now have the option of going online to wvpaycard.com, and of course they can check out some more information. There's an FAQ out there that they can get some of their questions answered, but what are some of the specifics about how the pay card's going to work?
Well, like I said before, the pay will be loaded on their pay card the day of payday, and they will have a variety of different ways to get that money off. One is if they use in-network ATMs. We have a listing of those up to date on westvirginiapaycard.com, so the employees can go there and check that out. They can also get their wages, and they can get a portion of them or their wages off to the penny for any of these transactions. They can go to any financial institution that has the Visa logo on it and withdraw their money free of charge. They can also use a pre-check option that they can go in and get their check cashed, a check that comes in their welcome kit. They can cash that check at a variety of locations throughout the state free of charge. That is very beneficial because we know some people who currently receive paper paychecks now actually pay a fee to get their check cashed, and they will no longer pay that fee, so they will be getting more of their earned dollars. And they can also use it just like we would with a debit card. If you go and purchase something at a store and scan it and use your PIN, they can do it that way too.
A lot of different options.
Yes,
with
that
this
was
pay card.
very important to the treasurer and the auditor, that there be many convenient ways and a variety of ways for them to get their pay off the card and for it to be free to the employees of the state.
How will this change the operations in the treasurer's office and the auditor's office?
Just because there's only 3,000 that we're getting rid of now, it will change it slightly, but we still issue paper checks for the vendors and through FIMS. So we're still trying to push more vendors and employees to electronic payments. And again, this is one way that we're trending to that.
And you know, as we mentioned before, not just the state trending that way, but a lot of other places around the nation, Social Security Administration trending that way as well. So this is the direction we're headed when it comes to banking services, not just for our state, but for many entities out there.
Right.
All right. Misty Price, thank you so much for coming on to talk about the West Virginia pay card. And again, people can go to the website wvpaycard.com if they have questions or concerns. They can check out some more information right there. As I mentioned earlier, the switch to electronic paychecks is just the latest of many changes Treasurer Perdue has introduced to increase efficiency and save money. Several years ago, he brought electronic imaging to the Treasurer's office. As Greg Stone explains, it has proved to be a huge asset to both the cash management and unclaimed property divisions.
Former tennis player Andre Agassi always lived by the adage that image is everything. To workers at the Treasurer's Office Receipts Processing Center in Kanawha City, imaging is the key concept. It all starts each day about 10:30 in the morning when the first of 2 daily batches of mail are delivered. Inside are mailbox contents. State agencies remitting paper checks to the Treasury for rapid deposit and, of course, imaging. Assistant Director of Receipts Processing Mike Buchanan explains.
After our mail is returned to us from the post office, we bring it here to be opened and sorted. What we're doing here is just jogging them down to make sure that all the envelopes are unison. We throw it in our mail opener. Which will open 36,000 pieces of mail an hour if you can feed it fast enough. We process our lock boxes for 35 different state agencies.
Once funds are deposited directly to the Federal Reserve and a daily report given to the respective agencies, checks are electronically imaged so that they may be destroyed. What you are looking at are empty shelves which previously held voided checks. Also on site are full boxes housing unclaimed property records. But unclaimed property is also doing its part to get in on the imaging game.
We have several documents stored in boxes that goes back from 1968 to current 2013, and we image those documents for the hopes that we can one day destroy them.
The Unclaimed Property Division is 2.5 years into the project and has imaged about 1,500 boxes of claim forms, driver's license copies, and other documents necessary for unclaimed property return. About 500 boxes remain. So workers at Treasurer Perdue's Receipts Processing Center will work among the whirring and clacking of machines with the goal of eliminating all paper from the scene. For Treasury Notes, I'm Greg Stone.
All right, thank you, Greg. As Greg points out, this imaging technology not only helps speed up the collection and processing of incoming data, but it proves to be a valuable resource in preserving old records. Joining me now is Cindy Hillen, the Assistant Director of our Unclaimed Property Division. I'm also joined by Mike Comer, Director of Records Management for the State Treasurer's Office. Thank you both for being our guest here today on Treasury Notes. We always like to talk about unclaimed property, and of course the imaging is something that we do that's been a great project for us. Cindy, I want to start by asking you to give us a little bit of background about this imaging project with Unclaimed Property Division and how it all started.
It's been going on for about 2.5 years. I believe Treasurer Perdue was a big push with the imaging machine that they received for the cash management program, and we were able to tag onto that system and start processing the claims. And we've got about 1,500 boxes completed so far. We have less than 500 at this point to get to. We're back to 2004, and we have the data all the way back to 1968 to image to put into our system so that we can view it online, and it'll be stored there permanently.
This is quite an extensive project.
Yes, it's been, like I said, 2.5 years it's been in the making.
And you anticipate it's going to take some time to make sure that all those back records are imaged and to continue on with the current.
Originally, we projected 5 years that it would take to get it completed, but we're well ahead of that schedule, so we'll be able to move forward with other processes that we plan to image as well at a little sooner pace than we expected, which is really good.
Well, Mike, from a records management perspective, what does it mean to have this kind of technology here in the Treasurer's Office? I know that has to be something that, as Cindy said, the Treasurer was excited about to start implementing.
Well, from a security standpoint, the disaster recovery possibilities using this data, but also not having redundant, tangible paper records laying around, that we can shore up some space and efficiency. It's wonderful technology, and it's made us more efficient.
Yeah, efficiency, always a great thing. Cindy, while some people file claims online, we do still receive some of those paper claims up in unclaimed property. Tell us how you handle these new claims in terms of the digital imaging.
They're all sent up to the processing center where the receipts management is. Yeah, unfortunately, we have some claims we can't process unless we have the paperwork. If they're out of state or something of that sort, we require the documents. If we receive original documents, they're stamped so that when they're scanned, they note that were original documents, and then they become part of the claim documents that we use to determine ownership. And they'll be returned to the owners if they ask, if they would like to have the documents back, if it's something they need.
All right, we're going to talk a lot more about unclaimed property, but the imaging project is just a portion of the job for our unclaimed property staff. Their main goal is to seek out property owners in an effort to return lost money. The efforts have paid off, garnering national media attention on multiple occasions. The latest was a feature for the ABC News program 2020. Here's that story from ABC News.
If there's a road to easy money, trucker Robbie Hull has not been riding on it.
Well, I've worked hard for a living all my life. Started working when I was 13, got laid off, and that's how I ended up driving a truck. If you're a truck driver, you will work hard.
Except today, Hull's headed to a major payday.
It's his lucky day. He's going to receive a pretty big check today.
John Perdue is the treasurer of West Virginia, or you can call him
the Egg McMahon of West Virginia. Unclaimed property, we give money away.
His state prides itself on returning unclaimed property to its rightful owners. So far, $125 million worth of lost loot has been returned, from long-forgotten stocks, bonds, and bank accounts to abandoned gold watches and diamond rings.
Every once in a while, you find that person $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, $100,000. That's called winning the lottery.
As for Hull, he'd forgotten about an old 401k account.
I figured, what the heck, it's gone.
The state actually tracked him down to get it back.
In here, buddy, this is your lucky day today.
I thank you.
Present you with a check for $25,803.84
I
of unclaimed
appreciate it.
property.
I gotta really thank you guys.
There's still $120 million left to be claimed in West Virginia and billions more around the country.
They say you have a better chance of being hit by lightning than winning the lottery. Well, you have a great chance of winning unclaimed property in West Virginia.
Just remember, in the game of luck, there are no guarantees, and there's certainly no roadmap. There's just the hope that good fortune might be waiting around the next corner.
A special thank you to ABC News and the 2020 staff for that wonderful report. And Cindy, our unclaimed property division has been featured on Good Morning America. We've been featured on the Today Show, in newspapers like the Wall Street Journal and other publications. How does this national media exposure help benefit our program here in West Virginia?
Oh, it's a great outreach that we let people know that we have their property and that we're trying to return them. The Treasurer's Office has a number of outreach programs in addition to the national publications, like the LGS staff that outreach, and just to educate citizens of the state on the money that we have and try to get it back to them.
And we like to tell people that if they live here in West Virginia, of course, they can go to wvtreasury.com to search and see if they have unclaimed property in the state, but also missingmoney.org,
Yes.
correct? They have a website that Treasurer Perdue actually helped get started, missingmoney.org, and you can go there to find out if you have unclaimed property around the nation, so definitely worth checking out. West Virginia is one of the nation's leaders when it does come to returning unclaimed property. Kim Ward gives us a behind-the-scenes look at how Robert Hull's lucky day was captured by a 2020 camera crew.
I gotta thank every one of you, especially Mr. Perdue and Roger, and I just think y'all do an awesome job with this program.
When Robert Hull received a call from Treasurer Perdue's office, he was surprised, not only because of the unclaimed property, but also because of the effort made to track him down and return it.
We have a few lucky people in West Virginia every once in a while, and this is your lucky day.
Robert was in for an even bigger surprise when he learned that a crew from ABC's 2020 wanted to be there when he stopped by the Treasurer's office to claim his check.
I thought it was awesome. I thought you guys did an awesome job. And
Treasurer Perdue's unclaimed property program has been in the national spotlight before, with television appearances on Good Morning America and the Today Show. But Robert driving his 18-wheeler up to the Capitol for the 2020 crew made a big impression.
I've been a truck driver for 33 years, on the go.
Picking up his big check was just icing on the cake.
But it's a nice surprise, that's for real.
As for his days behind the wheel, Robert doesn't plan to park his truck anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm going to invest it, and it'll be here when I do, if I ever do retire.
Reporting for Treasury Notes, I'm Kim Ward.
Yeah, we absolutely love that national media attention. It's a great way to raise awareness about the unclaimed property program. But of course, the Treasurer's Office our main goal is to make sure that people do a search and see if we are holding money for them, just like State Treasurer John Perdue was holding money for Robert Hall. And Cindy, the latest unclaimed property bulletin just went out in newspapers around the state that has names of individuals who have unclaimed property that is being held with this state. Tell me why this effort is really so important for our organization to make sure we get those names out there.
It's part of our act. It's part of the law that we do advertise and publish individuals' names in the last reported city. And we've been so busy with the phones lately, and it's been really interesting. People sometimes think that they owe us money. They're like, my name's in there, what do I owe you? And it's still to this day, we have conversations like that. Or it's my great-grandmother's, or a lot of good stories we hear, and it's just an outreach that we're really happy when people are told by their neighbors 5 times that your name's in the paper. When they contact us, and we guide them through the process.
Does the unclaimed property bulletin generate a lot of claims? Do you see more calls when this bulletin goes out? Because we put it out twice a year.
Absolutely. The call volume and the e-claims volume, both of them are very heavily. It's an increase in our office stays very busy.
Of course, the bulletin, just a partial listing. We do always encourage people to either call or go online at wvtreasury.com for a complete list of those names. You can just search our database online. Mike, when it comes to unclaimed property, you have been traveling around the state lately working on making sure the people who have unclaimed property, what we call our unclaimed property holders, are trained on how to properly report it, specifically law enforcement. Tell me about that effort.
Well, yes, ma'am. We have roughly now 350 law enforcement agencies, state police, DNR, all the detachments, city municipalities, and sheriff's departments that report to us from their evidence rooms, property that they gather in their evidence rooms as part of a law enforcement function, whether it be recovering stolen guns or locating guns. So we have, there's a lot of property in these evidence rooms that lose evidentiary value. Owners can't be located. People are not entitled to get certain property back, for instance, weapons, firearms. And so I go out to these law enforcement agencies and educate them on the latest law change and their options and what they can do with that property.
And they do have some options. Sometimes they can donate it. Sometimes, depending on what the items are, they do end up back here with the state.
Right.
So we make sure, and I think that's one of your main goals in your job, is to make sure that they understand what their options are, so that we don't have holders out there who are misinformed.
Correct. And those laws have changed, so they're still getting up to speed, and they're pretty happy, I think, with the latest law change and their options. It's expanded their options for what they can do with a lot of their property.
Cindy, law enforcement isn't the only entity that is considered a holder of unclaimed property. Of course, we have banks, all different types of places that are considered holders. We also have the safe deposit boxes. Those are the other real physical items that we get in that's considered unclaimed property. Tell us how the Treasurer's Office handles that.
Those are reported at the same time as the other normal holders in the fall season, but they aren't actually delivered till 120 days later to our site, so that we have the time to get the other information in the database, and then they're meticulously inventoried by 2 people in a vault and secure area, and then everything is photographed and documented of all the items that are in there. And once we've advertised those names, we will then, if they're not claimed, put them up for auction if they have items like the jewelry or something that's valuable that we can auction off through the service we
And we've gotten a great response. It's been just about 2 years, I think, since we've started the online auction program.
Just about.
Before we did physical auctions, which was a lot of work and a lot of effort, and we could only do so many every so often. But the online auctions, we can do much more of them. And of course, all the money that is garnered from these online auctions held in perpetuity, so that it would go to the owner if they ever come forward and claim their items.
Absolutely.
Of course, you can go check out our online auction. All you have to do is go to our website. Again, that website, wvtreasury.com. You can see on your screen there, we have a lot of items that are always up for bid on our online auction. So we encourage people to just take a look, see if there's something out there that you might want to bid on as well. Cindy and Mike, appreciate you both being with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Always great to get updates from the Unclaimed Property Program. Well, while Treasurer Perdue is dedicated to returning unclaimed property to its rightful owners, he is equally dedicated to educating people on how to keep the money they've earned. The Treasurer offers free seminars around the state as part of his financial education series. Kim Ward has a preview of the next Women in Money conference taking place in Parkersburg.
The key to improving your finances is to make a plan. But to create the best plan, you have to know where to start. That's why Treasurer Perdue created the West Virginia Women in Money Conference to provide people with the tools they need to take control of their financial future.
So we're here to help you become better educated, not fall into pitfalls and make mistakes, to help make the right decisions as you go and continue to go through life.
Treasurer Perdue's free Women in Money conferences have taken place around the state for more than 10 years now. These events offer practical, real-life steps to creating your personal financial plan.
I've had some family situations lately that have made me think more about I need to have a plan.
I want you to subtract the liabilities from the assets. This is going to give you your net worth.
She talked about writing everything down, right? If you write everything down, no matter how much it is, how small the amount, then you see where your money's going.
This half-day conference covers everything from getting out of debt and saving for retirement to estate planning and investing.
You're all going to have to learn about investing. Saving is good, investing is better.
Of course, as the years go by, you get older and your risk changes as far as where you want to invest your money.
And because your situation changes as you age, there is always something new to learn at a Women in Money conference.
When you go to a conference, you hear only what you need to hear. And you may be in an entirely different situation in 3-4 years. And so you come again, or you send someone else and you'll hear something different if you come again.
So every time I find something new information, even if I've heard it before, it didn't sink in until this time because my situation is different.
No matter what your financial situation is right now, we all can benefit from a little more planning. Make plans today to attend the next Women in Money conference, Friday, November 1st at the Blennerhassett Hotel in Parkersburg. Certified financial planner and financial educator Dee Lee will serve as the keynote speaker. The event is free, but space is limited, so register today by going to our website at wvtreasury.com. The Women in Money Conference is just the first step in your journey to a better financial future. Each person attending the conference will receive a copy of Dee Lee's book to help continue their financial planning at home. Reporting for Treasury Notes, I'm Kim Ward.
All right, thank you, Kim. We hope you will join us for our next Women in Money conference. Of course, that is open to all ages. Women and men are both welcome, so please register today. That's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank all of our guests on today's show. And remember, you can get the latest news and information from the State Treasurer's Office on the go. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or check out our blog for financial information. Connect with the Treasurer's Office today. Visit us at wvtreasury.com. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Joins with the Office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue.